I'm not shooting things out of my crotch today.
Oh my God. Ready?
Okay.
I actually am drooling.
What do I look like? Bill Nye the Science Guy? I've heard of this thing called dabbing. Hot dogs or legs? We don't have any labia minoras and majoras up in the house. Is it menorah?
You're welcome.
I think I was dropped as a child.
Hey, Sugar Bear. Welcome to Paranormal Spirits, where we share a drink, we tell you a spooky story, and then we rip it apart because booze always shows the truth. So grab a drink and play along with us as we play Emily's drinking game.
Emily's drinking game!
Well, we have a new friend with us. This is Lily the Haunted Doll. Lily is a new member of the family, so I thought we'd have her with us and see if anything's happened. Nothing has happened quite yet, but supposedly the spirit of a little girl lives inside Lily. So we'll see. Speaking of weird, creepy-ass things, today we're going to talk about the ghost of John Wayne Gacy.
Sweet Jesus. Tell me about that fat motherfucker. I want to know.
John Wayne Gacy is a serial killer. He assaulted at least 33 young men and boys, and 29 bodies were found in the crawl space beneath his house, which I found surprising because he was a large fella. Like, unless there was a large entrance, like a
do da cha-cha.
portal into this crawl space where he was able to not only squeeze his giant body in there, but also a dead body dragged through there as well.
Well, maybe it was just a big crawl space. It was a plus-size crawl space.
It was a husky space.
It was a crawl space for big and tall. When you want to hide a body under your house, but you're too fat, come on down to crawl spaces for big and tall. Because if you're tall, we let you crawl.
Another aspect of John Wayne Gacy is that he had an alter ego named Pogo the Clown. He dressed up like a clown. Not all the time, from what I gather. So not at all terrifying. Killer clown. He lived in Chicago, so it was underneath this Chicago house that they found these bodies in the crawl space. So he was eventually caught, and then he was executed in 1994. And then in the search for evidence, his home was basically dismantled. It was, kind of like rubble by the time they were done because they were finding bodies and things everywhere. So they looked everywhere. So it was basically like destroyed. So his house was no longer standing, but the land was still there, clearly, because you're not going to remove it. And during that time, the neighbors started talking. They were like, hey, John Wayne Gacy used to live here, right? And have you noticed there are no weeds? There's no grass. There's nothing growing on this lot. This empty lot. Nothing would grow. And so they started a whispering.
They done started a whispering. Don't you know they went out and started whispering over there? What's Chicago? They were whispering over there.
So they thought, well, maybe the victims of John Wayne Gacy were roaming and haunting the property, and that was why nothing would grow there. So years later, another house was in fact built on the lot. The owners of the new house reported that they believed John Wayne Gacy was in fact still there. And not only that, but they would see him in the clown persona.
No.
No.
No. Imagine being like, oh, welcome to my 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom ranch. Here we go. Here's the living room. Here's the dining room. Here's the fat clown that haunts the house. Here's the master. Don't look under the floorboards.
The house was for sale fairly recently. I don't know if it's sold, but as of, I believe, 2019, it was still for sale.
You want to buy it?
No. I don't mind a ghost, but that one, no. Allegedly, there was also an exorcism done on the house. However, it had no effect.
Do exorcisms work on clowns?
So I was trying to find more information on this, and I really was sadly not coming up with a ton of things. But I did find a couple videos on the YouTube that were people trying to contact the ghost of John Wayne Gacy. And there were two that were sort of interesting, somewhat interesting. They were like semi-interesting, let's be honest. They were both kind of like ghost box sessions. The first one, I wrote down a couple of the things that I found interesting that came through. Just kidding. I didn't write down anything about that one. All right, so the ones that I did write something down about. So this one was from a guy whose channel is called Chicago Spiritwave. Now, he was in front of a building where John Wayne Gacy worked as like a maintenance man. So he was there, but it was not his childhood. And he basically was just outside in his car. He had his ghost box on, right? You know, the one that sweeps the radio channels really fast.
How does it sound?
So it did come through with a couple of things that could be considered pertinent information. The guy who was doing the video said there were rumors that potentially there might be bodies also buried in the yard around this building. But supposedly, because this is, I couldn't even get the words out. I guess that counts. So this is supposed to be during the time where he first started killing. And so the thought was that there might be some bodies buried there. So he asked, how many bodies are buried here? And the response that he got was 7. One thing they also said was under basement, which was also interesting because it was a crawl space. So that was something. And my favorite little tidbit from the ghosties in this one, at the very end, the ghostie said, smoke a doobie.
Wait a minute. So are we sure that this was the ghost of John Wayne Gacy, or was it just some pot-smoking serial killer that lived in this apartment building at a different time?
Or just some pot-smoking kid that was around, like, who died, and he was just like, all right.
Or was it just Willie Nelson using his super Willie Nelson powers to be like, smoke a doobie, kid?
Now, the other video that I found on YouTube that I found interesting, the title of the video was Pogo the Clown Haunted Doll Conjuring John Wayne Gacy. And this is from Spectral Wolfpack Paranormal. All right, it's a mouthful. So anyways, this guy, I think he said he was in like an antique store or vintage shop or something like that. And there was this old clown doll. And for whatever reason, he was drawn to buying this doll. And in his mind, he kept hearing the name Pogo. And I believe he said he didn't know that was the name of John Wayne Gacy's alter ego. So he decided, well, let's do a session with the clown doll. See if we can contact John Wayne Gacy, see if the doll is haunted. Now, he also had a ghost box. And some of the things that came through were Pogo, John, oh yes, and Satan. But then he looped it, so it said Satan, Satan, Satan.
Well, that's my favorite techno song. Satan, 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 Satan.
And then it also said Gacy's back.
Is it a new Eminem album?
So it said Gacy's back, then it was quickly followed by shit. So maybe there were several spirits, and one of them was like, "Ah, shit, Gacy's back."
Oh shit! John Wayne Gacy's just releasing his new album, and he's got his, what do they call them? Are they pump up boys? Your backup bros, hype boys, hype men. So the ghost of John Wayne Gacy recruited a hype man. He's literally there, like, guess who's back?
Yeah.
Gacy's back. Tell a friend.
Yeah.
Shit! That was a painful thing to get through.
At one point he said, what is this doll's name? That was the question he asked. And the response came back, John. And several times you could hear a clown horn through the ghost box. Yes.
I hate everything about that. I can't wait for that album to drop. It's going to be like all sorts of clown horns and dead boys.
What do you think his rap name would be? Like Big Gacy?
Big Pogue.
Little Gacy.
Little Gacy. That's the crappy story of John Wayne Gacy's ghost and his new rap album coming out. Summer 2021. Keep your eyes peeped at Newberry Comics. Is Newberry Comics still alive? Don't know.
Yeah.
We're old. If you like what you saw, then you may be a clown serial killer and you need to turn yourself into the police. Thank you for listening anyways. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell before they haul you off to jail. Okay, well, go on and have yourself a grand old day, night, or morning, whatever the hell time you're listening to this, and just do yourself a favor and get the hell out. Goodbye.